Before diving into this incredible story, consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the bell. Every story here has something to say, and you won't want to miss a single one. One summer morning, Angela Moore, 42, was finishing his shopping in a supermarket in Birmingham, Alabama. The sun was already high in the sky, beating down on the sidewalks with its white light. The air vibrated with heat, and the slow beat of the fan above the checkouts seemed powerless to counter the ambient humidity. Angela, however, moved calmly, pushing a shopping cart filled with carefully selected products: milk, whole wheat bread, organic cereal for her son, a bouquet of sunflowers on sale, a small treat she liked to treat herself to. Mother of a 15-year-old boy, beloved wife of 20 years, literature teacher at a local public school, Angela embodied quiet strength. Her upright figure, dignified carriage, and soft yet assured voice had forged her reputation in the neighborhood. Many students called her Miss Moore, even after leaving school, as a tribute to the quiet impact she had had on their lives. That day, she wore simple jeans, a slightly wrinkled beige t-shirt, and a pair of leather sandals. Her hair was tied back in a low bun. No trace of makeup, just that understated, confident beauty that made her presence soothing. She crossed the parking lot in silence, enjoying a brief gust of wind. She thought about what she would cook that evening, smiling as she imagined her son grumbling over the vegetables. She reached her car, an old Honda Civic Pigs, well-groomed but modest. She put the bags in the trunk, bent down to replace a rolling melon, then wiped her forehead with her forearm. Just as she was about to open the driver's door, a sharp, dry voice cracked through the hot air. "Hey you, stop right there." She straightened slowly, a barely visible frown between her brows. Her body stiffened, not out of fear, but out of instinct. She had heard that tone before, in other circumstances, other places. A tone of command devoid of listening. When she turned around, she saw a tall, white policeman, sunglasses lowered on his nose, walking towards her nervously, his hand on his pistol holster. His name was Kyle R. Thompson, 33 years old. She didn't recognize that name, but she knew his style. That cold stare. That military posture borrowed from a misunderstood authority. That need for control, for domination, masked under the veneer of law. He didn't need a reason. She was enough to embody suspicion. You match the description of a suspect. Immediately remove your hands from your pockets and move away from the vehicle. Angela didn't answer right away. She watched him for a few seconds, searching his gestures for a clue as to what he really wanted. He was nervous, tense. His thumb tapped his case, and his nostrils flared slightly. His authority wasn't born of respect, but of a disguised form of insecurity. She finally spoke, calmly. "I think you're mistaken, officer. I just paid for my purchases. You can check the surveillance cameras or my receipt. It's right here in my bag." Thompson stopped a meter away from her. He glanced at the cart, then at the car, then at her. His eyes swept the scene as if searching for something to justify what he'd already decided. He wasn't searching for the truth. He was searching for an excuse to assert his power. "I'm not arguing, madam. Get on your knees, hands behind your head." Angela stared at him, taken aback. Her heart sped up slightly, but she kept her head up. "I'm not going to get down on my knees in the middle of a parking lot for buying milk and cereal. It's ridiculous, and you know it." The words came out without anger. Just a calm, naked truth, held up like a mirror. And Thompson couldn't stand that mirror. Angela's gaze humiliated him. She wasn't shouting. She wasn't provoking him. But she wasn't afraid. And it was precisely this lack of fear that triggered his fury. With a sudden movement, he raised his hand and struck her with a sudden, dry violence, as if to erase with a gesture this black woman who dared to answer him without trembling. The sound of the slap cracked like a gunshot in the burning air. Angela fell heavily to the ground. Her purse clattered to the concrete, opening to reveal her scattered belongings. Grocery bags spilled, a bottle of orange juice shattered, apples rolled between cars. A trickle of blood ran from her lip. She didn't scream. She didn't move right away. All around, frozen witnesses watched, shocked, unable to react. A woman pulled out her phone to film. A young man stepped forward, then stepped back, frightened. Angela, still on the ground, lifted her head slightly. She wiped away the blood with the back of her sleeve, then fixed her eyes on the officers. Her voice, hoarse, low, but clear, rose like an oath. "You just hit the wrong woman. And at that moment, something changed. In the police officer's eyes, in the witnesses, in the very air of the parking lot. Like a thread that had just been pulled, a mechanism set in motion. Because Angela Moore was not alone, and soon the whole world would know. Just a few miles from the supermarket, in a stately, secure federal government building, Malik Moore had just finished a confidential meeting with his FBI colleagues. Tall, slender, with a penetrating gaze behind discreet glasses, Malik possessed the effortless elegance of someone who knows how to combine rigor with humanity. He was 45 years old, and for 17 years, he had served his country as a special agent, specializing in investigating hate crimes, police corruption, and abuse of power. Malik was a man of principle, a quiet force. He had forged a reputation as an unyielding defender of justice, determined to bring down the untouchables within institutions. His career had been marked by sensitive, often painful cases, which had cost some corrupt police officers dearly. But he had never wavered. He knew that every victory against injustice represented another step toward a better world, for him, for his family, for his community. As he was about to leave the building, his phone vibrated in his pocket. Malik quickly pulled it out, his eyes widening at the image he'd just received. It was a photo, blurry, but clear enough for him to recognize immediately. Angela, his wife, on the ground in the supermarket parking lot. Her face bore the marks of a violent shock, swollen, with a reddish mark along her cheek. A scene that did not fit with the image of a simple woman coming from the grocery store. The message accompanying the photo was brief and chilling. Your wife was just assaulted by a cop. Supermarket parking lot, 10:42 a.m. Malik's heart skipped a beat. His jaw clenched. Instinctively, his mind went into operation mode. He didn't waste a second. Without hesitation, he called his team, then strode briskly out to his armored SUV parked outside. 30 minutes later, the black vehicle, with tinted windows and chunky tires, stopped in front of the supermarket. The comings and goings of shoppers and paramedics formed an eerie contrast to the palpable tension in the air. Angela was still there, surrounded by paramedics checking on her. Despite the obvious pain contorting her face, she held firm, aware that the stakes went far beyond a mere physical injury. A few meters away, the officer Kyle R. Thompson sat in his patrol car, his face impassive, almost arrogant. He calmly wrote his report, as if he had just arrested a notorious criminal, proud of his achievement rather than concerned about the victim's condition. Then the SUV's back door burst open. Malik stepped out, flanked by two other federal agents in dark uniforms. They moved with a confidence that left no doubt about their mission. Malik walked straight to Angela, knelt beside her, and placed a protective hand on her shoulder. He placed a tender but emotional kiss on her forehead, a simple yet powerful gesture, a testament to unwavering love in the face of adversity. Then, straightening, Malik faced Thompson. His voice, calm but firm, resonated with unquestionable authority. You hit an innocent citizen. You raised your hand against my wife. I'm Special Agent Malik Moore, Federal Bureau of Investigation. From now on, you are suspended, and you will answer for your actions in federal court. Thompson, surprised, tried to regain control. His voice trembled, mixing defiance and panic. I acted according to procedure. It was justified profiling. A coincidence. She matched a report. But Malik wasn't listening anymore. He pulled out his phone, scrolled through the supermarket's surveillance videos, the witness testimonies he'd gathered, the evidence he'd accumulated. Everything confirmed what he already knew. Angela wasn't a threat. She was a victim. His gaze hardened, but also filled with the promise that justice would be done. Your behavior is unacceptable and illegal. What you did is a violation of civil rights. You will be held accountable, right up to the highest level. Around them, the murmur of customers, federal agents, and rescuers formed a dull murmur, the weight of a truth that was finally coming to light. Malik squeezed Angela's hand, holding her upright, offering her the strength to continue this fight, together. And in this fight, neither fear nor injustice would have the last word. In less than 24 hours, the case explodes in the media. What could have been just another news story in an America accustomed to police injustice becomes a national scandal. The headlines follow one another with lightning speed. Black woman slapped by police. She is the wife of an FBI agent. Angela Moore, brutally attacked. Local police in turmoil. One slap too many. FBI opens investigation into Birmingham police practices. Social media is going viral. An amateur video, filmed by a 16-year-old boy from the parking lot, goes viral within hours. Angela is seen standing there, motionless, calmly asking for an explanation. Then, Thompson is heard raising his voice, approaching, and, without warning, slap her violently. The sharp sound of the slap, the shocked silence of the passers-by. Angela's unbalanced fall, it's all there. And above all, this blood-curdling sentence, filmed just after by the young boy. You just hit the wrong woman. The whole country hears these words. And suddenly, Angela is no longer unknown. She is a symbol, an embodiment of courage, dignity, and pain that has been suppressed for too long. In the hours that followed, citizens from all walks of life gathered in front of the Birmingham police station, placards in hand. Justice for Angela. They beat us, silence us, bury us. Not this time. Public figures, activists, artists, and politicians speak out. Angela, despite herself, becomes the voice of all those black women who have never been heard. But she refuses to be pigeonholed into the role of passive victim. Angela reappears publicly, not in tears, but in control. Dressed in a simple dress, her hair tied back, a discreet bandage still visible on her cheek, she faces the cameras. The silence in the room is heavy. When she speaks, her voice is soft, but each word is a detonation. I am a black woman in America today. This wasn't the first time I was seen as a threat. But this time, I will not remain silent. This isn't just my story. It's the story of thousands of other women who don't have FBI husbands to protect them. So I speak for them. His statement was broadcast live on several national networks. It became a clip shared by millions of people, used in campaigns against police violence, screened in universities, and studied in law schools. A few months later, Officer Thompson's trial begins in an electric atmosphere. In a packed room, where media, victims' families, plainclothes police officers, and international observers mingle, Thompson's troubled past is laid bare. 3 previous complaints, all filed by Black or Latino citizens, emerge. 3 reports hushed up, dismissed. 3 warnings ignored by his superiors, who preferred to protect the police's image. This time there will be no cover. Malik Moore, as a federal agent and husband, delivers a relentless analysis of Thompson's behavior. He presents the evidence, debunks the defense's false version of events, and reveals the systemic flaws that allowed Thompson to remain in office despite his behavior. But it was Angela's testimony that shocked the room. Calm, standing, and dignified, she declared before the judge and jury. It wasn't his slap that hurt me. It was the conviction in his eyes that I was worthless. This silent contempt, this certainty that no one would stand up for me. This is what must be judged today. Not just a violent man, but a culture of impunity. A heavy silence falls over the room. Some jurors have tears in their eyes. The judge herself pauses before continuing. Thompson is found guilty, excessive use of force, aggravated assault, and racial discrimination. He is sentenced to 4 years in prison, a rare but symbolically powerful sentence. The Birmingham police chief, under pressure from public opinion and an internal federal investigation, resigned a few days later. Governor announces creation of an independent commission of inquiry in statewide policing practices, with Angela Moore invited to serve as a civil society representative. What Thompson thought was a banal, almost routine act, triggered a national shock wave, a slap in the face, but also a huge flaw in the system, finally exposed. Angela Moore is no longer just the wife of an FBI agent. She became the voice of those who are never listened to, but who, today, will no longer be silent. Angela returns to teaching. She takes her place in front of her students, in the classroom where she has always sown seeds of critical thinking and dignity. But something has changed, in her eyes, in her step, in the way people listen to her. She is no longer just Mrs. Moore, a respected teacher. She is now Angela Moore, a living symbol of a calm but indomitable resistance. Invitations are pouring in from everywhere: universities, police schools, international conferences on civil rights. Everyone wants to hear the one who said no without shouting, the one who spoke for all those who have been silenced for generations. She does not seek the spotlight, but she understands that she can no longer hide behind modesty. If my pain can help prevent another woman from going through the same thing, then I will speak out. And I will continue to speak out as long as necessary. It is in this dynamic that she founded the organization Black Dignity Rising. Black Dignity Rises, this is not just another NGO. It is a space for listening, advocacy, and care. The objective is clear: provide legal, psychological, and media support to Black women victims of police violence. Angela plays an active role. She doesn't just lend her name. She supports, listens, and trains. Workshops are created in working-class neighborhoods to inform women of their rights. Crisis units are set up to intervene as soon as an assault is reported. A network of volunteer lawyers is structured around the initiative. The organization becomes a lighthouse in the night for thousands of women who have long been invisible. And for the first time, these women see each other, recognize each other, and rise up together. Angela and Malik become the face of a quiet but unwavering resistance. Their image, a united, dignified, indomitable couple, is seen around the country. But behind this image, there are also wounds, silences, sleepless nights. Angela often says, "This fight is not noble. It is necessary. It costs, but it saves." Malik, for his part, remains more discreet in the media, but his support is constant. By her side, in the shadows or in the spotlight, he carries this fight like a silent promise to his wife and their community. Their son, Jordan, a teenager who had been reserved until then, marked by the shock of his mother's attack, finds a vocation in this storm. He refuses to remain a spectator. One day, he announces to his parents that he wants to become civil rights lawyer, with a firm conviction in his voice. In a now famous interview, he confided, "When a man hit my mother, she didn't curse him. She didn't insult him. She responded with the only thing hate fears, the truth. I want to be an instrument of this truth." In a country where racism still attempts to hide behind uniforms, procedures, and twisted laws, Angela Moore's name has become a reference. Books are written about her. High schools devote chapters to her. Her voice is studied in courses on the rhetoric of justice. And yet, it was neither anger nor revenge that carried her. It was dignity, this silent force that transforms humiliation into leverage, pain into light. She didn't scream. She didn't hit back. She has lifting. And this time the world was forced to listen.